All right, good morning, everyone, and welcome to Webinar Wednesdays with Encon Electronics. Today's presenter is BAi Barcode Automation Incorporated. We have Ryan Waxberg. He's going to take you through their product offering and let you know a little bit about their company. It's a hands-free vehicle ID. It's very simple, very reliable technology, easy to install, very affordable also. The tags are cheap and good. They're based out of Florida. They've been around a long time, and we're happy to let Ryan kind of roll forward with the rest of this meeting and let everybody know about barcode automation. I can't speak. Sorry about that. And with that flub, take it away, Ryan.
Good morning, everybody. Let me go ahead and start my screen share here. Where's the button? Do I have? Not actually. Oh, there it is. Had to make it bigger. All right. So you should hopefully be seeing a PowerPoint presentation now.
Yep, there we go.
So as he just mentioned, we are Barcode Automation Inc. I am Ryan Waxberg, the marketing manager here. If you need my email, it is ryan@barcode-automation.com. Happy to answer questions about our system, anything more technical, sales related. If it's something I cannot answer, I can find the answer out for you. So in this probably pretty brief presentation, we're going to try to cover three things: why we exist, how you benefit, and how to get started. And we do want to start with why we exist. As Jeff so nicely mentioned, we have been in business for quite a while. So one of the first things, this gets a little awkward, discovered some of them allow me to play the audio, some do not. So with Zoom, I have to actually take my headset off. I would like to play this for you all though. And if Jeff, maybe you could give me a thumbs up if the volume is okay once I start playing it. So what do you like about barcode automation?
Biggest thing I like is their product. The product is second to none. Put it in the field, install it properly, and we've never had issues with it. And from my experience, factory support is impeccable, always available, always answer my questions, never have any issues. The knowledge of their equipment is second to none. Their record keeping on the properties, the labels, the products that you need out there, always the best. I would recommend this product to anybody out there. I've got 19 years experience in this industry, and I've been using the product for a very long time and couldn't be happier with it.
All right, so hopefully the audio on that came out okay. That was a testimonial we got at one of our distributors, actually. And we really value that because that's who we are and what we want you to take away from this. As much as it is our product line, it's also partnering with a business that you're probably going to need parts from, service from, equipment from for years to come. We were founded in 1997. Our anniversary is actually about a week and a half from now, so what, 23 years. We have just the one office. We're about 25 minutes north of Orlando in one of the suburbs. All of our equipment is designed, assembled, tested, and ships from here. So typically, if you place an order through Encon, we can ship it to Encon's office. If you regularly go into them, it's easy to get in there to one of their two branches. If you want, and it's okay with them, we're happy to also drop ship it to your office, or at times we even have people that want us to drop ship it to the property that they're putting it in at, so they don't even need to have it until they get to the property and they're just doing the installation work. We do not sell direct to any property or facility managers. We never will. We've been in business a long time. We do collect some information that when we first started doing that, people were worried it was so we could then, steal their business. We don't do that. We never have. We would not be in business very long if we started doing that. Nobody would be recommending our equipment. We are really there to support you. In this case, that's both really Encon and the dealers, you guys that put our equipment in. You're ultimately our customers, and we are there to support you. Our mission statement, and this was written back in 1997, was to make a better access control solution and a better access control company. And we do this by making a product that is longer lasting, more reliable, and more affordable. And in many ways, we still are. We're certainly more reliable. We are certainly longer lasting. Price of some of the competitive automatic systems has come down, but especially long-term value. I think by the end of this presentation, you'll agree that we are often, if not always, more affordable as well. I'll get into pricing towards the end of this. First, we'll jump into how we go about doing that. So we are the only laser-based system. Everything else that you're probably familiar with is going to be your radio-based systems, RFID. That's really our competitors. There's multiple guys doing it with RFID. So where we think we differentiate is really on that technology as well as a company. If you look up RFID, for example, versus barcode online, what you're going to find is RFID works really well for warehousing applications. Negatives usually are, for barcode rather, is you need a handheld scanner, you need line of sight, right? They can be copied. None of those are accurate for our system. Well, the line of sight is, except as I'll now jump into, you are talking about an access control application. Make sure I get my little digital laser pointer here. So you're always going to have line of sight, right? They're going through a controlled entry point. In this case, the credential is right here. It's the barcode sticker. In this one, they're using the black on black, which is what most use. And here is our reader, and they just drive by, automatically reads the barcode, opens the gate. If we on that comparison, if you look online, what you'll usually find is barcodes are less expensive, which is still the case. The reader identifies the vehicles traveling up to 25 miles per hour without any interference issues. That's really because it's laser-based. The credential gets applied to the side of the vehicle where it will be read from a guaranteed of 6 feet. So in this case, it doesn't look like that vehicle is 6 feet away, so the wheel could probably be about here maybe, and it would still get read. You will possibly get a bit more than that, but we guarantee 6 feet. If you absolutely need more than that, we do make a larger decal, which guarantees 12 feet. Very few sites use that though. And the reader does ignore all copied credentials, and I will show a video that better explains that a bit later on in this presentation. If you need the part number for ordering, is the BA-440-B-combo. The combo aspect of that is going to include the internals, the enclosure, the mounting post, the power supply, pretty much everything you need to set one up. Really, the only time for a new installation that people don't do the combo is if they don't want to use our mounting post. They either have their own fabrication shop and think they can do it for less money, or they're doing something custom and just have no need for a mounting post of this style. Maybe they're putting it into a column or a 90-degree angle, something like that. So in this slide, really, we're just showing some close-ups of the decals. On the right here, we have a black on black decal on definitely some higher end window treatment on the Mercedes. It doesn't quite look tinted. And here we have a white on black decal. Our decals, which is the very next slide, come in 30 different color combinations and can be customized. You do always want to place it in this vertical orientation. If it goes the other way, it will not work. We recommend that third back window, especially on personal vehicles. If it's going into a facility like an airport, chemical refineries, maintenance trucks, something like that, they don't mind putting it right on the paint. They're not really worried about the resale value too much if their paint job fades differently. For personal vehicles, that's really the only reason we recommend the glass. It would read just fine if it were positioned on the paint. So this is the actual decals. In this case, we're just looking at some of the customs in different colors. As I just mentioned, they are available in 30 different color combinations. The most common is that black on black credential. If people want something more colorful, it's usually for a reason. Maybe a guard that they have patrolling needs to be able to quickly spot check, or it's something like a school, a corporate headquarters where they want to differentiate. And they also will customize for that purpose. It's especially popular. The two that seem most popular is colleges will differentiate students from faculties, sometimes from students that live on campus versus commuters. And then the other one I see a lot is renters versus homeowners, and homeowners versus faculty at some of the really large communities. And different from RFID, but they do break on removing. What happens is the lines will distort or tear. As soon as that happens, it will not work. So that is a security feature. We do offer a more robust one with die-cut lines. It is really very rarely used and does increase the price quite a bit because of the labor involved in that. Rarely do we have any issues with people being able to remove them as long as they were installed correctly to begin with. So this video, I don't need to let you hear the audio, so I'll just talk while it plays, but it's the fastest way to really understand our system is to see our main demo video here. Lower the volume so you don't get it through my mic. So in this case, go forward a little. Well, I don't think you can see my pointer over the video, but the decal is on that third back window. It's the black on black decal, so you really barely see it. And then on the very next vehicle, it's going to be a truck with tinted windows. Even if I paused it, you wouldn't see the decal at all. Since I'm speaking, I can skip over the bullet points here. There's a black decal going onto a black window, just disappears. People will complain, but only in the sense that they complain about pretty much everything sometimes. Overall, though, people do not mind. I've seen it on some very high-end vehicles. Works in the rain. Later on in the footage, we do have snow as well. It works just fine in snow, though probably not too common in your area. Does work in parking garages. I have another clip, so I don't need to pause it on that one. There is some notes to be said about parking garages. And it does do very precise control over multiple lanes because it's all line of sight and laser based. You won't have any cross interference issues. And that's really the end of this video. Kind of gives you an idea of how it works. 25 miles per hour, especially with those high-speed barrier arms, it's just going to open. If you're waiting for a heavy wrought iron like this, you're waiting because of the gate operator. You'll see in this case, they have that double system. Another car is going to pass and just be able to go right in much faster. So moving right along to the next slide here. So here we have another parking garage. And before I get into some of the text stuff, what I was going to mention about parking garages, because I know this has come up particularly in Northern California a few times, you do need some sort of setback. If you have a roll-up, a garage door style gate right off of the main road, you're not going to be able to get the line of sight. You can't put the reader in the middle of a sidewalk area. So you do need some setback. We actually recommend more than this, but you can do closer. The positioning will be on the next slide. In this case, it's a little difficult to see, but they actually have a reader on the entrance and exit because non-residents are able to take a ticket but then need to make sure that they pay to leave. Residents, it'll just read their barcode coming and going. So getting into some of the technicals, it is a Wiegand system. So your Wiegand limit is 65,535. That's a Wiegand 26-bit specification. We can do some other bit rates. Some are built in, some would be by special request. Standalone will go right up to basically 5 digits, so 99,999. And then of course, in both cases, you do have your 3-digit facility code. Internally, the reader doesn't really have any built-in software, but it does store the last 2,000 transactions. It's going to give you your decal and timestamp. If you're using it in standalone mode, it'll also display good read indicator. You also get the last 10 days of motor and temperature speed. That's mostly for diagnostic purposes. If something starts going wrong, if that can indicate what it might be. Typically, you're going to be using that Wiegand, sending it to an access panel, telephone entry system, something like that. And the only time you're really going to access that internal log is if you're trying to troubleshoot something. So you might open it up and pull that log file and say, all right, are the decals showing up here? Yes or no? If yes, are they showing up in my access controller? Yes or no? If no, you know the problem is somewhere in the wiring between the reader and the access controller. If yes, then maybe the decal is just being told by the access controller not to open. Stuff like that is primarily what that internal log is used for. There is a built-in serial port and USB port that you connect peripheral devices to if you want to, connect a module for cellular or Wi-Fi, anything like that. We do not sell those devices. You would need to use one that really works in your area or that you're familiar with. And it is a low voltage 24 volt DC, 1.5 ampere max. Typically it's pulling about 5 volts. It does have a heater inside of it that turns on should the temperature drop to prevent condensation building up inside the reader. Sorry if you're hearing any static, the AC here just kicked in. So on this slide, we're really just showing the reader positioning a bit more clearly at our ideal positioning, which is 25 feet before the barrier arm or gate. So what you want to make sure is that the decal can pass the reader. If the front of the vehicle gets to a gate or barrier arm and the reader hasn't been passed, then it's not going to work. That is a line of sight system. It needs to be able to get that line of sight. As you saw on the previous slide, you can put it closer. It's just going to mean cars have to go slower. If you have a really long car, might cause problems. You would kind of need to assess the situation, the site, and make that determination. So the other important part, and is always asked, is what about the height? And the answer is really the height is not an issue. The lasers expand out vertically. So this is just greatly enhanced as far as brightness goes. We've got a diagram overimposed, but these two lasers are the actual lasers. And you can see they expand vertically across the entire length of the vehicle. You will be able to put this, a golf cart and a lifted pickup truck without any issues. You don't have to worry about adjusting the reader. As long as the reader is perpendicular to the road, it will work. So in the diagram on the left, this is on a 6-inch curb. So if you have a smaller curb and no curb, the numbers can vary slightly. It's going to go to 35 inches above ground to 65 inches above ground at 2 feet, which is where we recommend starting positioning the reader, and it continues to expand out from there. We recommend 2 feet to A, protect the reader from your side view mirrors, and B, to give the laser time to expand, because if a decal pulls up real close and it is just under the laser, it will not be read. So really 2 feet gives it a decent amount of time to expand, as well as protects the reader from being hit. So going into some of the internals, this is what we call the Wiegand Verifier output board. If you order the combo package, it actually includes a second one of these. It protects all of the main electronics. All of your wiring will go into this board. So it's very easy setup. You've got your power, good read plus and minus, auxiliary in plus and minus, auxiliary out plus minus, and then of course your Wiegand, data 0, data 1 communication lines. Most of the time, you're just going to use the power and the Wiegand for sure, and then probably the power. The auxiliary in, auxiliary out is if you want to connect additional devices, lights, ground loops, stuff like that. The good read is if you're using it in standalone mode, that'll control a gate operator. It does also have some test switch and a Wiegand isolation mode that can be used for diagnostics. And our tech support team will use that regularly if and when you call in for help. So this board sits inside the reader like so. Right here, you have your power switch as well as a buzzer that can be turned on and off. All of your wiring, again, will go right into that Wiegand output board. Your laser is going to come out from here, come up, and then it shoots out the window in that triangular fashion that I indicated. For maintenance is fairly simple. We recommend 6-month maintenance, and that is cleaning this wheel, this mirror, and the top of this. We do recommend, and really it's required, 100% denatured alcohol. Otherwise, when it drips down, it will corrode this circuitry. If you use the 100% denatured alcohol, anything that drips down will fully evaporate and you won't have any problems. The serial port and the USB port are on the other side. The USB port is right about here. The serial port is up in the front here on the other side, which you'll actually be able to see on the very next slide. So before I even start this, again, I can't point because it is a video, but you can see on the bottom side there is the serial port, and the silver cube in the bottom middle is that USB port. So in this one, it's going to show the decals cannot be copied. And this, it's always asked, if you look up the RFID versus barcode type stuff, it's going to say barcodes can be copied. The answer is sure, a barcode can be copied. Our reader is going to ignore those. It's looking for an exact amount of reflectivity, which you'll see in the oscilloscope here, as well as in the indicator lights that are on the right side. With that, this is the real decal. You see everything lights up. You see the oscilloscope shows the reflection. With any sort of copies, that's not going to work. And if you do look at moving forward with our system and you have a property but are questioning it, this video, all of these videos are up on our website that you can show your potential customer. So that really concludes what the reader is. I went into a little bit about who we are, a bit more about that, and then what you can expect from us. The reader has a 10-year life expectancy. A lot of them last longer than that. We warranty it for 5 years, which is pretty leading warranty in this industry. There is a 2-year limited warranty on the decals. Very rarely does anything happen with the decals. I think only once in the 7 years I've been here. 1-year limited warranty on any repairs that happen. We do offer advanced replacement, 1-week lead time on decals and readers. And if it's just a part order, it ships the same or next business day. Encon does not warehouse any of our stuff. It all will ship from our office. So as soon as we get that order from them, if it's a part, we ship it same or next day. If it's something that we have to produce, configure for you, it would ship in that 1-week lead time. And then again, we can ship it really wherever Encon tells us to. So as I mentioned earlier, and when we started doing this, we did get some pushback. We keep very accurate records of every property that has our equipment. It's going to be the site name, an SID, which is something that we issue to all new sites, the facility code, the decals, the sequence numbers they're on, the dates ordered. If you ever need this, you can call us up or call Encon up, and they can let us know, and we'll get it to you if you pick up a site that has our stuff, or you put us in and just a year or two later need to remember the property lost it or you don't have that record, we can get that for you. The other important thing that is going to lead us into the price, in this case, this was a little extreme, but actually not unheard of. This is a college that uses our equipment. And if we look at the dates, this is 2016 to 2020. They did start at 1, and they're already at 14,400. And actually, I believe they ordered another 500 just within the last 2 or 3 weeks. So in the course of 4 years, they've gone through 14,000 credentials. Obviously, compared to some communities, that seems like a lot, probably a lot of communities, but we do have some, actually a few in Northern California that go through probably pretty close to this. They're basically their own cities and they're using our equipment. So when you factor in those decals, that's where the cost of our system gets very attractive to really all parties. Our suggested retail price is $9,655.29 on the reader, $4.49 on the decal, minimum order of 100 on decals. After that, you can order any number of them. You can actually also order 50 of one color, 50 of another color. That meets our qualifications. We just don't want to be doing orders and processes for 20 decals each month, which is what some places used to do. So we implemented a minimum of a 100 decal order. So in that previous example, to put that in perspective for you guys, depending on which of our competitor RFID systems you might be considering recommending or used to, familiar with, you'd probably fair average, depending on which one and which exact credential, maybe $10, again, MSRP. So those 14,000 credentials would be $144,000. Ours, the credentials would be $64,656, MSRP again. The 2 readers are probably more expensive than whichever RFID system you go with. Ours would have cost about $19,310.58. The RFID system, depending on which one, we figure with the cabling and everything, you're probably giving an MSRP of around $5,000, so $10,000. The decals over time more than made up for that. We also see this as a benefit not only for the properties that put our equipment in, but really for the distributors as well as you, the dealers. You're guaranteed that upfront expense of the reader sale. There's no telling, when they need more credentials, who they're going to order them from. We all know that these properties, a lot of times they're required to get multiple bids, especially the HOAs. Some of the more industrial sites, they tend to stay with their vendors a lot longer, but especially the HOAs, they might even be required under both California law or their own board requirements to get multiple quotes. So if you're trying to rely on the decals for ongoing costs, you may or may not ever see that. You're getting the nice upfront cost of the equipment. You know it's going to work. You know it's going to last a long time. And the decals are more affordable for the property. And you're not that worried if they order them from you or not. That's really all there is on the pricing stuff. I didn't get into your pricing. You would really need to reach out to your Encon rep for that information if you're looking for a quote. So next step. So this was really a broad overview of who we are, what our system is. We did not get into the more technical stuff. There's not too much technical until you start installing it and maybe running into some troubleshooting issues. If you do want that training, let Encon know and we can certainly schedule it. It would not be with me. It would probably be the president of the company that actually would do that. We can set that up. Manufacturer referrals. So in normal years, we get lots of them. Right now, it's a little questionable, but we do get some. To make sure that you're included in that, let Encon know you're interested in our equipment. They can then in turn let us know. What happens is we market to property managers. We also have a website, and we all know these days, property managers will look up online and find what system they're interested in. I have one waiting for me when I get done with this webinar from Arizona right now. If one comes in an area that you service and we know about you guys, we are happy to refer it to you. We just need to know that you're interested in pushing our equipment and that you exist. We do not sell direct. All we do with those is send them out. Usually we do give it to 2 or 3 because they do need multiple quotes. They want to talk to multiple people. But to get included, again, just let Encon know and we are happy to do that. Printed literature, if you need, for say a board meeting, again, right now that might be a little questionable. We're happy to send you sample decals, brochures, spec sheets, anything else you need. Encon probably still has some of our brochures at their office as well. Demo readers. We do have demo readers available typically for 30 days. We can ship one out. It would be through Encon. So then you would go over to the Encon office, pick it up, or you could show your customer there. Just depends on what you're trying to do. If you're trying to test it with something, or if you're trying to show it at a presentation. If you want, we can also certainly do a virtual presentation like this for you. And finally, how others started. Main way people start with our equipment is either we got them a referral from a property manager that already knows they want our equipment, or they were asked for some sort of hands-free system and they put in a supplementary quote with our equipment in addition to the RFID system. Property sees, okay, we've got a little more of an upfront cost, but over time, we're going to make that up with the lower cost of decals. That's really the 2 ways people start with our equipment. Once they do, in all seriousness, they tend to love it. It's going to work right out of the box. You're not going to have headaches, issues, anything to worry about. We will be there the entire time to support you, both today and for the foreseeable future. All of our equipment is built here in Florida. We don't have any issues with back ordering or tariffs, trade wars, anything else going on in the world. We will be there for you. And that really concludes the PowerPoint. So I'll go ahead and stop sharing my screen. Oh, my camera got completely out of focus, it looks like. What's going on here? There we go. I don't know, didn't have much turnout for the live part of this. Did you have any questions though? Anything you can think of that I may have missed or that you'd like to add?
Hey Ryan, on more high bed vehicles, would you just move the reader back some, or do you do a high-low double reader, or?
You're saying on a high up, like a
Yeah,
a lifted pickup truck?
Big trucks, yeah.
Really, they expand so far. Try to go back to that slide.
Yeah, I saw it. It does that.
And here, let me go back to screen share real quick. This one. So I think you can now, again, see my screen. So it's going all the way up to 65 inches above ground. I mean, that's just like 6 feet. I don't think you're going to need more than that. The only place I know of that did was they were putting it actually on a truck scale. So the truck was first driving up onto a scale, then it was on the back part as well. The bin is where they were putting the decals. Other than that, there's really no issues. I know, for example, Rancho Murrieta, right by you guys, I saw golf carts and lifted pickup trucks. They've got 9 of our readers and don't have any issues with the height and that's only at 2 feet. It does continue to expand out from there, so it actually goes even higher.
Okay. Thank you.
Absolutely. The other thing I should mention, right now is a great time. We're seeing a real increase in demand for stuff like this. HOAs, I think, have gotten a little questionable. They're all worried about whether people are going to make their payments on time, but we're actually seeing a big increase in demand from this from corporate lots, retirement communities that weren't previously gating their parking, but now they feel they need to really start controlling access, and they're looking for a hands-free way to do that. You know, people don't want to be reaching out and having to touch a keypad entry system or the Prox card reader when there's also the risk of, you know, when was this last cleaned? How many people have touched it since it was cleaned? Are we going to put a little Lysol thing out? Especially in an elderly community, if they're using one of those systems, it was already difficult. We've all probably seen an elderly person have to like half open their door to kind of halfway get out of the vehicle to reach the system. Now they're also worried about, what am I even touching? So we are seeing a big increase in demand from places looking for a contactless solution. And our system does absolutely fit that hole right now. It's not a great world that we're in right now, but it is the reality that we're in.
Yeah. Okay. Well, with that, I guess we're going to wrap it up here then. I want to thank Ryan Waxberg again, Ryan from Barcode Automation Incorporated. You know, you all saw this, and this is being recorded. This will be on our website, so anyone can access this and see this at their leisure, watch it from home, on your phone, whatever you need to do. But this is a product that, you know, like Ryan just said, in these crazy times right now, this is something that could really fit the bill for a lot of these installations that you're looking at. Easy to install, very reliable. It's a win-win. Thank you again, Ryan. We appreciate your time.
Absolutely. Thank you all for having me. If anyone has interest and you guys need any help, questions, absolutely reach out. We are happy to help in any way we can.
All right. Thanks again.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, everyone. And next week we have Torsion Vehicle Access Technologies next Wednesday. Webinar Wednesdays are going crazy. Thanks. Have a good day.